Deep dives and blue skies. Welcome back to Talking Blue with Nick, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Blue, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. I'll be your host, Nick, previewing our first preview series in a little bit. We're previewing the Twins and the Dodgers upcoming series that will be played this week. Twins come into Los Angeles, so we're going to preview that series. Before we get into it, as always, you can get this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow us on all social media at Talking Blue Pod. You can follow myself at Talking Blue Nick on X. Subscribe to the Reddit at competitive-week8715. So, we're going to preview the Twins, give some info on them, try to make this pretty quick preview series. So, Twins are about a 500 team, kind of similar to the Royals, teams like that the Dodgers have played. So, let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. So, the Twins are currently 48-51, third place in the American League Central. Offensively, the Twins are 22nd in batting average, 20th in on-base percentage, and 15th in slugging percentage. They have the 5th lowest walk percentage, but they do have the 4th highest hard hit percentage. So all these offensive stats tell you that they're very middle of the pack, but they do hit the ball hard. That's the one thing they do well. They have a lot of those guys on their team, like Matt Wallner, hits the ball super hard but strikes out a lot. Trevor Larnach, obviously Correa hits the ball hard. Buxton, Ryan Jeffers. So they kind of have a lot of guys who hit the ball hard, but aren't really consistent hitters. So on the pitching side, they're kind of an interesting pitching team because a lot of their numbers would suggest that they're good, but for some reason they aren't very good. So I'll explain. On the pitching side, they have a team ERA of 4.13, which is 21st in baseball. So obviously that's not good. They have the least amount of walks allowed, so their pitchers do throw strikes, and they have the highest chase percentage in baseball with the 4th highest first pitch strike percentage. And they're also 9th in strikeout percentage. So that is very interesting that their team ERA is bad, but they don't allow walks, and they get a lot of chase. That's usually not a combination you see a lot. Normally, teams that get a lot of chase also walk a lot of hitters because chase means you're throwing pitches out of the strike zone, and it's obviously leading to chase. And then they have first pitch strike percentage, so that's a weird mix that they're able to not walk hitters but also get a lot of chase, but they still get the first pitch strike percentage, and they do get a decent amount of strikeouts because, like I said, they're 9th in all of baseball. Their bullpen ERA is 22nd in baseball, again, which is weird because they have a lot of names in the bullpen that are pretty good, or just a lot of guys with a lot of good stuff. But for whatever reason, their team ERA is not good. The 3 pitchers the Dodgers will see in this series aren't very good. So outside of like Joe Ryan, who's been really good, he was an all-star, and then Pablo Lopez, who's usually very good. I think he's injured right now. They don't have many good starters. So, yeah, I just found that interesting that is kind of the makeup of their pitching staff. So, kind of a weird, it's probably going to be a weird approach for the Dodgers because normally if you have a team who doesn't walk a lot of guys, they're in the strike zone, so you're aggressive because you know you're going to get strikes to hit. But they have the highest chase percentage. So, interesting mix, interesting approach. It'll be interesting to see how the Dodgers approach that. So, let's get into Game 1. Game 1 will be Shohei Ohtani versus David Festa. David Festa made his debut last year, so nobody on the Dodgers has faced him. The Twins have familiarity with Shohei on the mound, and then, of course, Dustin May is going to follow Shohei Ohtani out of the bullpen. So when it comes to David Festa, big, tall right-hander, 6'6". He's got a lot of extension on the mound, obviously with his height, but a lot of his numbers aren't great. So the only thing he does good, like I said, other than his extension, is he gets decent chase and whiff numbers. But He allows some walks. He gets hit hard in terms of barrel percentage. Doesn't keep the ball on the ground. So he's got an ERA of 5.25, and his expected ERA is 4.75. So he hasn't been very good this year. So when you dive into some of Festa's pitch and mix and stuff like that, he's a four-seam changeup guy with a slider and a sinker. So he'll sink it. But his four-seam fastball, actually both of his fastballs, get absolutely hammered. His four-seam fastball has a 345 batting average against, and his sinker has a 333 batting average against. The one thing that Festa has that makes him good is a very good changeup. It has a batting average against of 109. And it has a whiff percentage of 43%. The slider is solid, 234 batting average. So his fastballs get absolutely killed, but his changeup is pretty good. Is very good, actually. So because of that, Festa is better against lefties. Lefties hit 222 against him. Righties hit 266. So that's kind of common with guys who lean on their changeup. If they're right-handed, lefties going to hit him are going to be not as good against him. So I'm curious to see. The Dodgers, of course, are struggling right now. They have guys on the team who don't hit changeups, like Shohei usually. That's like one of the only pitches. For the most part, guys like Mookie, Teoscar, Will Smith have always been pretty solid against changeups. The Dodgers have been better against right-handed pitching this year. They, of course, hit fastballs as well as sinkers. Dodgers are always a weird team. When they're slumping like this, they'll kind of let anyone shut them down. But I am looking for the Dodgers to break out offensively. I think they can do it in this Twin series because all three pitchers have stuff that shouldn't dominate the Dodgers, and I think that they can hit. Again, I don't love the fact that he is a pitcher with a very nasty changeup. I'm scared that he's going to rely on that heavily, and the Dodgers are going to be swinging and missing at a lot. But, of course, him being not as good against right-handed hitters, and having a fastball that gets destroyed should be good for Will Smith, Teoscar, Andy Pages, obviously Shohei because he crushes fastballs. Mookie's a good fastball hitter, like I said. Obviously Freddie. So there's not many guys who aren't a good matchup for him. So we're going to make some home run picks. In this game, I'm going to pick Andy Pages and Teoscar Hernandez as my home run picks. Both guys who have kind of struggled as of late. Obviously, Teoscar struggled for a while. Pages has kind of just been colder in the month of July. Teoscar is a guy who usually does very well against sinkers and is a good changeup hitter as well. So, he is one of the guys who should be able to hold his own against Festa with that changeup. And if he tries to pound him in with a sinker or a fastball, Teoscar could handle it. And then Andy Pages as well has decent numbers against changeups and is a pretty good fastball hitter. I think he's been quiet for a little bit, so I'm just thinking that he can handle Festa. So those are my two home run picks there. Against Ohtani, he has pretty good numbers against the Twins. Obviously, it dates back to when he was an Angel. But I'm able to find all the players that are on the current Twins roster, active roster, and their plate appearances. So like guys like Ty France, he's one of the Twins players. He hasn't faced Ohtani in a Twins uniform. It's just all the guys who have faced him in their careers, that'll be on the Twins now. So he has 56 plate appearances against this Twins lineup, and he has a 17 batting average against, 298 slug. So Ty France, like I said, has the most at-bats against Shohei, a 176 batting average. Carlos Correa has a 200 batting average. The only person who has good numbers is Willie Castro. He's a good player for the Twins. He hits 333, but he's got 3 hits against him. Other than that, Christian Vasquez, Matt Wallner, Trevor Larnach, Cody Clemens, Ryan Jeffers all have plate appearances against Shohei and no hits. Shohei has done well against the Twins. When I dive into some of the pitches the Twins hit well and don't hit well, a lot of the guys struggle against sweepers, sliders. Brooks Lee, bad against sliders. He's one of their players. As well as Carlos Correa is bad against sliders. Willie Castro, bad against sliders. Christian Vasquez, the backup catcher, and they're also bad against splitters. Now, they have some decent numbers against four-seam fastballs, like Willie Castro and Ryan Jeffers, good fastball hitters. Byron Buxton hits sinkers well. So the Twins are kind of an interesting team because on paper you would think they have a pretty good team. If you look at their lineup, they have Byron Buxton, they have Carlos Correa, they have Royce Lewis, who's on the team, but website I'm looking at, it doesn't have him in the lineup. So they're kind of a team that, like, some of their superstars aren't playing well, and then they have other guys like Willie Castro, who's been very good, Cody Clemens, who came over from the Phillies. He's been really good. Harrison Bader, who's always been like just a really good defensive outfielder, has been pretty good for them this year. But then, guys like Trevor Larnach, Matt Wallner, kind of been just league average hitters who strike out a lot. So they're kind of a weird team that you would think would be better. But I think Shohei has familiarity with them, so that's good. None of them have good numbers against Shohei, so I think he matches up well. He's only going to go about 3 innings, and then it'll be handed over to Dustin May. So we'll see how Dustin May does. Maybe he can thrive out of this role coming out of the bullpen. I know right now, because of like the guys coming back from injury and where they're kind of at right now since coming out of the break, the Dodgers kind of worded it as like, this is just what we needed Dustin May to do. They're kind of trying to not like say it's a demotion, but it's obviously like a tryout in ways. If he does well, it's something that they can do going forward, because Dustin May has been one of the only pitchers who's taken the ball every 5th day but has been bad. So that's pretty much all I have for Game 1. So let's go to Game 2. Joe Davis mentioned this in the broadcast the other day. Probably the longest names in baseball history matching up against each other. So we have Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking on Simon Woods Richardson. That is a very long name. 2 very long names. The Dodgers don't have much familiarity with Richardson. Only Conforto has faced him twice, and I don't think he's got any hits against him. And then against Yamamoto, only Harrison Bader has faced Yamamoto, and he actually has 3 hits against him. So other than that, 2 pitchers that have not faced any of the hitters in the lineup. Some info on Richardson again. He's got an ERA of 3.95, so of the 3 pitchers the Dodgers will be facing, he is the best numbers as of now. But his expected ERA is 4.12. He doesn't throw very hard, doesn't get any whiffs or strikeouts, does also walk some hitters, gets hit hard, barrel percentages are bad, ground ball percentages are bad. So, again, a pitcher that, if you're looking at all the expected numbers, tells you he's not that great. They're against righties, so he's a traditional right-handed pitcher who's better against righties. Lefties hit him 285, though, so lefties have had success against him. And when you break down his individual pitches, another guy who throws a changeup, but mostly it's slider curveball are his 2 off-speed pitches, and he throws a 4-seam fastball. So his 4-seam fastball has actually been pretty good, a 233 batting average against, and then his slider is a 259 batting average, so that's solid too. Then you dive into some other stuff. His curveball has a 233 batting average against, but it's expected 290. Then his changeup has a 333 batting average against, and it's expected 411. So the curveball and the changeup get absolutely hammered. Obviously, the good 4-seam, good slider is kind of why he's better against righties. But the curveball and the changeup being bad, which are usually pitches you're going to throw to lefties, they get hammered. That's why he's not as good against lefties. So, like I said, only Conforto has faced him. So, in this game, my 2 home run picks, I'm picking Shohei Ohtani, and I'm also going to pick Dalton Rushing. I picked him before. He didn't come through, but I think he'll be in there in this game. The way that the series will go, it'll be 2 night games, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday will be a day game. So I imagine Will Smith will catch game 1, and then usually catchers don't have catchers catch a day game after a night game. So I'm sure Rushing will catch Tuesday, and then Will Smith will be able to catch the day game. Maybe they just have Will Smith catch the first 2 games, and then Dalton Rushing catches Wednesday, which would screw some of this up. But hopefully I got it down. Shohei, actually, one of the pitches that he doesn't hit as well are curveballs and changeups, but he crushes sliders, and he's a good fastball hitter. which Richardson throws. So those are two of his better pitches, but I'm thinking Shohei's just better than him. And, like I said, not as good against lefties. And then Dalton Rushing, I think he'll be in there. Hopefully he will be. And I'm just picking Rushing to go deep. No nothing. Rushing doesn't really have great numbers, but I'm picking him to go deep. Like I said, better against lefties, so maybe he gets a fastball over the plate. Rushing just puts a good swing on it. And then, like I said, against Yamamoto, so only Harrison Bader has faced Yamamoto. But like a lot of teams, don't have much good numbers against splitters, which of course is Yamamoto's best pitch. Changeup, splitters, Harrison Bader is very bad against that pitch. Christian Vasquez, Trevor Larnach, Ty France. They have a lot of guys who don't hit splitters well. Royce Lewis, Ryan Jeffers, Harrison Bader, all bad against the splitter. The only player who really hits splitters well is Byron Buxton. He has a .667 batting average against splitters. So other than that, they don't really hit splitters well. See how Yamamoto does. I think he will pitch well against the Twins. And I think the Dodgers can hit Richardson. So we'll go to Game 3. We'll keep it moving. Game 3 will be Tyler Glasnow versus Chris Paddack. Chris Paddack, old friend of the Padres. Let me know if any of you guys are Dodger fans like me who have been for a little bit. Do you guys remember when Chris Paddack was like the next big thing for the Padres? Every time I see his name, that's what I always think about. But he's never really been that good. I think 2019 was like the only year he was decent. He was a rookie that year, and he got like a lot of hype around him for the first few starts that he made. Chris Paddack, again, he has a 5.14 ERA, so just not a very good pitcher. Chris Paddack is not as good against righties, and he's better against lefties. He's another guy who has always thrown, or at least when he was with the Padres, had a decent changeup. Fastball with a .281 batting average against, so that's not very good. But, like I said, changeup is .241. But it's expected .266, so it's not a dominant pitch, but it's one of his better pitches. The slider is a .200 batting average, so he's got a good slider. But then the curveball, the cutter, and the sinker that he throws all get hit way over 300. Said he'll probably lean on that changeup a lot, so you're going to see a lot of changeups in this series. Like I said, he's better against lefties. A lot of that, I'm sure, is because of the changeup. But like I said, he throws the slider a lot, which has been good for him. But the Dodgers have some good hitters against sliders like Andy Pages, Shohei, Will Smith, all hit sliders well. Not necessarily Teoscar and Mookie. In this game, I'm going to pick Mookie Betts and Will Smith as my home run pick. So again, hopefully I got the catching situation right. Mookie has a home run against Paddack in his career. Good fastball hitter. Again, he'll lay off that slider that Paddack throws. Maybe he even gets a right-on-right changeup and hits it out, or just hits a fastball out. And then Will Smith, again, is good against sliders, curveballs. He's a good breaking ball hitter. Paddack doesn't have that great of off-speed breaking ball pitches. But like I said, Mookie and Tommy Edman both have a home run off him in their careers, so they see Paddack well. So again, Paddack's not a great pitcher. The Dodgers should be able to put runs up against him and the Twins. I think that they will. I'm hoping they break out this series against three pitchers who haven't been very good. Now, when it comes to Tyler Glasnow, he has absolutely dominant stats against the Twins. He's got 52 plate appearances against everyone in their lineup, and he's got a 137. They have a 137 batting average against him with a 196 slug. He has a 40% whiff rate against everyone in their lineup. So the most at-bats have been from Carlos Correa. He hits .083 against Glasnow with a 45% whiff rate. Christian Vasquez, 143. Harrison Bader, 200. Willie Castro, no hits. The only one is Royce Lewis has 1 hit and 3 at-bats. So, I mean, he just dominates everyone. If you remember, Tyler Glasnow's first year with the Dodgers last year, I think actually his best start of the year was against the Twins. He had like 14 strikeouts and absolutely dominated them. So he must have also had some pretty good appearances against them with the Rays. So Shohei has very good numbers against the Twins. Yamamoto should pitch well against the Twins. He matches up pretty well against them. And then Tyler Glasnow has absolutely dominated the Twins in his career. So from a pitching standpoint, the Dodgers fare well against the Twins. They should be able to hit the starters. It's all going to just depend on Is it time for the Dodgers to break out? Is it time for them to turn around this little slump that they've been in? Not a little slump, a big slump. I'm not going to go on a tangent about their slump. We talked about that in the previous podcast. If you want to hear my thoughts about that, scroll down and you'll see the prior podcast. So I'm not going to go on a tangent. We all know they've slumped bad. The Twins are a very average team. They're not a super bad team, but they're obviously not good. The 3 pitchers they are facing are very hittable. The Dodgers got to put up at-bats and put up runs against the Twins. I think they will because they started to hit better at the end of this previous series that just ended against the Brewers. So they're not really facing any good pitchers. So I think they will put up runs. But please, Dodgers, do it. Don't let me see the 6th inning roll around and you're getting shut out by somebody. Put up some runs. You guys match up well against them. So we'll see if Freddie Freeman's in the lineup. We'll see what the lineup looks like. They've said Dalton Rushing will be in the lineup at first if Freddie can't go. So that's partially why I also picked Dalton Rushing, because I think maybe he'll be in there at some point. So as always, thank you guys for listening. That's all the info I have for you on the Twins. Get this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us at Talkin' Blue Pod on all social media. Subscribe to the Reddit at competitive-week8715. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys at the end of this series to recap it. Dodgers Twins. Thank you guys so much.